Tristana, Yone, conventional AD options off the board.
Okay, fine. And Skarner, both available right now. I like the respect being shown towards the mid laners. Orianna for Faker makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
He recently acquired a skin on the champion. Meanwhile, on the side of T1, the Ziggs removed the Tristana as well towards Creme. He's an incredible Tristana player, and they don't want to allow him to have that. But the Aurora, first pick, we talked about it being a power pick. The beauty of this champion is the flexibility that it has as well, being played both in mid and top.
And of course, just one of the most powerful team fighting ultimates in the game. What feels like a Camille ultimate for an entire team can be so impactful. Remember, this champion has been nerfed just about every patch since it came out, and the fact that it's still high prio is a testament to how powerful the kit really is. But prioritizing the early Aurora has left open the Ashe. Again, something that was banned away in our first match of the day. Generally a champion who gets lane prio against the vast majority of matchups. And with Aurora locked in, Neeko now coming out. Remember, Aurora, as you highlighted, a flex. Top lane Neeko, not something we see as much, but is something that has been played historically.
Yeah, naturally, my assumption would be that this is for Keria in support. But the beauty of the champion is it is flexible. We know Faker's played it before. Zeus is no stranger to bring out in the top lane as well. So a bit of flexibility on the side of T1, perhaps an introduction to the meta, maybe an answer to Aurora that they've prepared for us. We'll have to wait and see as the draft continues. The Jhin going to be locked in for the side of top esports over towards JackeyLove. And now they round out with a sport of their own. But they want to grab that jungler because, you know, in the previous game, Skarner and Vi instantly locked in from both BLG and MBK. But so far in this game, that jungle priority has fallen to the wayside.
Debates here on what the option is going to be.
The flexibility immediately. Lock in the Renekton for 369. Of course, one of his most well-known champions throughout his career, but I feel like the biggest strength that you have in Aurora is its flexibility. But top esports, and I mean, it's common in the LPL, they know the power of Renekton. They are very effective at leveraging it, so they want to guarantee that for themselves.
And pressure now on T1 to lock in whatever it is they want to play with mid lane if it's not the Neeko. Because if they don't, they'll likely be banned away in the next phase. However, instead, the focus going to be on counterpicking the top side of the map. Zeus with the Jacks into 369 Renekton. Classic top lane matchup, but unlike a lot of the matchups we see, this is one where the Jacks eventually is going to be a tough task to deal with. Early on, we know how impactful the Renekton could be, how strong he is overall, but the later we go, the scarier and scarier that Jax becomes, especially on a side lane.
I wonder if T1 will get rid of something like a Jarvan. You look at the Ashe as a potential target, and it wouldn't surprise me if T1's even thinking about something like the Syndra. I think control mages in general do very well into Aurora because she's relatively short range, and you can really bully her. The Poppy, though, going to be the van, given that, you know, Jax does struggle against this matchup for sure. And maybe T1's thinking about the Jarvan themselves, which means that that's something that they could prioritize. I would expect something like an early, I say an early, I would expect a jungle ban here. But perhaps they want to just eliminate potential support options that can pair up nicely. Something like the Rell would also make a lot of sense if they just want to eliminate that from Meiko. Maybe even his Alistar is something they could be concerned about.
I'm curious where or what TES's plan is with the rest of their options, because Jhin normally pairs incredibly well with champions who want to burst out a target. And while Aurora can hit that identity when she starts to get ahead, often needs a bit more time to get stacks built up. If it's not, you know, a snowballed Aurora ultimate, it's not doing quite as much, so I wonder if the Renekton and Aurora will be enough, or if they'll try to get more damage out of the jungle position. You highlighted Skarner earlier, Sejuani already gone. Still some good tank jungle options left, but the Renata was already banned. Bot lane support pool, really the big focus. Rell would be kind of next down in priority order in terms of popular options, but giving respect over to Comfort for Oner, obviously an incredible Viego player.
Now you imagine that the mid lane is going to be locked in. You know that Aurora is going into mid. Aha! But this is the flexibility of the Neeko that we were talking about. So this is their answer into the Aurora. They've locked the Neeko in. They're going to be securing it in mid lane with the Rakan coming down towards the bot side of the map. What will the response be here from top esports? Both the Rell and Leona, I think, both make sense, both in terms of the 2v2 matchup, but also providing a form of engage. Right now, that is what top esports is lacking. They need a way to start those fights, and Rell makes a lot of sense. To round things out, you're then looking at that jungler, which, you know, in this meta, really surprises me that it's come so late into the draft. But what's it going to be, Tian? What are you thinking about bringing out?
It's a situation where you have AD top, you have AP mid. So in terms of overall composition, you can go either way. You wouldn't mind a little bit more magic damage on this team. Do we see a return to old junglers of patches past? But the tank option, always going to be a solid one. Skarner, of course, just generally a good pick. Doesn't always have the best upfront engage, doesn't have the same range that a champ like Sejuani does, but it will be the priority here. It is what's going to be locked in, and we saw in the previous game, a lot of those early skirmishes going in the favor of MDK. While they maybe couldn't keep up in map play, the Skarner did a lot of work, especially around those level 6 fights.
Oner's Wukong. I am a fan, especially against champions that don't have the best mobility, Jhin and Aurora. It also just pairs up nicely. Nice dive buddy alongside both the Jacks and the Rakan. You've got a lot of engage on the side of T1.
Yeah.
That is a backline threat composition. Faker, man. This man on control mages is a sight to see. Because at any point, you know that he can make that play that can change a game. He's done it so many times over so many years. It's what so many people look forward to.
I'm also just excited because I love Neeko on big international stages. Domestically, we joked about it in the LEC, I think everybody has, but your ability to count minions will be tested today. Is that actually a blast cone? Will be a legitimate question we ask in the context of this game, and I'm just ready to see kind of the creativity that can come with a newer champion like Aurora to the professional scene, and something like Neeko, who obviously has that naturally built in. But you highlighted so much engage, and it feels like T1, very clear game plan. TES know it, T1 know it. How do TES fight back against this? Can they get those side laners ahead? Maybe find an avenue where they don't have to run face first into this powerhouse 5v5 wombo combo style composition coming out from T1.
I do think
a matchup we've seen at Worlds 24 thus far. And it is just a best of one, but come on, the narrative writes itself, Eddie. You talked about it. Could T1 add a 5th LPL team to the list?
I mean, there's a lot of pride on the line for LPL. Yeah. T1 really did the LPL dirty last year with the run through the world's bracket. But again, like, if you're just an international viewer, if you only tune in for the international events, you look at the top of your screen. What do you mean LCK 4th seed?
No, we mean LCK 4.
Yes, T1 really struggled this split. They've had a really difficult road to get here, and they just barely made it. 5 games in the regional gauntlet versus KT. Their form has not looked spectacular, but it's important to emphasize this, because if they do turn things around at the World Championship, it should really go to show how incredible this team, this roster of 5 players really is.
T1 already making some proactive map movement with Guma on the top side at 130. Looks like we will be seeing a lane swap vision to try to spot out who will be coming to potentially catch that wave as the LCK classic of having your support in the mid lane, but this time, not a support, it's Faker, and now the flash in onto 369. 369 getting lower and lower, a little bit of healing from Cole. The Meek and first blood for Zeus.
A strong start as they find 369 isolated. The split map came through. Now, they will be a little slow to start the push on the top side of the map, but hey, they got themselves first blood and they got it onto Zeus.
And right now in the mid lane, right, you still have the 2v2 lane set up, which is, of course, really the LCK special. T1 no strangers to it. Something Gen G were really proactive at kind of bringing to the forefront. Makes sense when your mid laner Chovy to give him a little bit more attention, but the same, very true about Faker, as he remains a secret Neeko. I think just happy to have a kind of better auto attack animation for as long as humanly possible.
Now, 369 is desperate to try and get level 2 as Zeus and Gumayusi hover around the top side of the map. The idea is, and you're going to be seeing a lot at this year's World Championship, is Zeus will get level 2, Rakan has level 2 as well, so once Zeus gets the level over, he can TP to catch that massive wave in bot, and now that they're both level 2, both support and top laner, they should be safe enough to weather the threat of the dive. Here's Tian though, hovering and ready. We should be seeing this TP come through from Zeus, but he wants to go back to base. He wants to spend before he actually arrives in the lane.
Level 2 for Keria. This is really difficult for TES to get much done here, however, because, again, Jhin early on in those extended trades and laning phases can be powerful early on. Nice flashback from Keria to get away. Knock up, forcing the flash up from Tian in response. No dive, no real play here. Only a single plate taken down as 369 will TP up to the top side. Now, Guma, of course, because of the 85% early fortification, not really able to get a plate back in response, but well defended by Keria.
I'm a little surprised to see that Zeus actually stayed for another wave in the top lane, because I thought initially he was going to go back to base, spend his money, then TP down towards bot, but ultimately, not the end of the world. The flash did have to come out from Tian because he got tower aggro by hitting onto Keria. Now, level 3 through from Keria. The base actually going to come through from Zeus. We imagine the same thing is going to happen from Gumayusi in the near future. But I say that, look at the top lane right now. He is just bullying out 369 in the Renekton. No flash means that he can just chip away at his HP bar. Level 3 now comes through.
Just being zoned away from so much XP. Luckily, as you highlighted, does have the level 3 now. Things will get a little bit easier if he can get on top of Guma. You know, he'd be in a better position, but with Guma still having cleanse and both of them being flashless, the kill pressure that 369 brings to the table is much, much lower. And in the bottom lane, they're just now able to crash that wave. JackeyLove luckily hasn't had to burn a biscuit yet, but he's running out of mana just trying to sustain that push.
Oner continues to split mash. Split mash? Split mash in order to provide Gumayusi with all this additional safety as well. This AD carry is level 4 now, happily farming away as can be.
Look, if we just kind of squint, it's like Season 1, sort of. You've just got double melee champs to the bot side.
That is old school, yeah.
There's Ashe in solo lanes for some reason. It's coming full circle. Stun there from Zeus, just trying to get close to get XP. Again, if he doesn't pick up CS here, it's not the biggest deal, as long as he stays ahead in XP overall. Obviously, Jax wants that early itemization, but in a split map, you're happy to just get what you can, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting how, I believe it's T1 that's made this decision, right? Because typically you'd swap back earlier, right? You're just getting through those early levels, you're trying to put the enemy top laner behind a little bit, but T1 is saying, hey, we're actually quite comfortable with how we're playing right now, with Gumayusi getting nice pressure down onto 369, and the fact that they can't do the same to Zeus on the other side of the map. He walks away, back to base. They're going to keep these lane assignments. They're going to send Gumayusi back to top once more. Keria's roam to mid.
And essentially, I think what this tells us is that grubs are the priority for T1. They're resetting to be in time for the 530 wave that'll spawn. If you get pressure there, you get first access to grubs, willing to, you know, mismatch lanes a little bit longer to try to prioritize that early grub buff. We'll see if it kind of pays off for him.
Sure. Of course, Oner has maintained this split map throughout the entirety of the early game. Ultimately, all of the shenanigans haven't really resulted in a significant gold advantage outside of the fact that Zeus did get first blood. That's kind of where a lot of the lead is sitting right now. Gumayusi is a little bit behind in terms of farm, partially because he was late to the first wave. But level 5 now for the Ashe, and yep, 369 is upset that this is his lane opponent.
And look, he can't, there's nothing he can do about this. He can't come face check these grubs. So grubs are getting picked up. The response, of course, on the opposite side for TES is to go for this Drake, which makes a lot of sense, but ultimately grubs have been higher priority for the LCK just about the entire year. So not surprising to see T1 look for the top side on this side of the trade.
And now, after securing the grubs, they have numbers advantage top side, so they can start threatening those plays, start threatening a potential dive. No level 6 secured yet for 369 means that he's not going to have his ultimate available. You can see Oner making his way into the top side jungle once more as top Esports secure the first dragon of the game. Zeus spotted on a ward.
Creme, now needs to be careful. Nice hop out to safety. Pretty easy for him to escape, but running relatively low on mana. Meiko, we'll see if he wants to help him push this wave in, but all of T1 collapsing on the top side now.
Basically, Zeus saying, I know I'm at risk of a dive on the bot side of the map, so I'm not even going to bother sticking around. Instead, I'm going to group up with my team, threaten a potential dive, but also he's in a position to catch this wave. They hand 2 plates over to Gumayusi. He can now look to reset and path back towards bot if he wants to. And the XP just going to be shared between the two of them. Overall, I think T1 has managed this very patiently, very well in terms of the early game. 369 in a similar position, knows that he can't go to the top side of the map, so he's getting what experience he can. They are chipping away at this tower, leveraging the strength of the grubs. The total number of plates exchanged so far is even, but here becomes the 4th.
And I think the big thing here is that Jhin is not great. Normally in these lane swap circumstances, when JackeyLove gets so much time in isolation, you'd expect him to get more, but because he's on Jhin, he doesn't really shred through those plates, and because we're past 5 minutes, the top lane fortification that might have balanced things out for the first few minutes, no longer in his favor. So first tower taken, great use of the grub buff. TES committing a lot of members here to the mid lane, but overall, T1, 2,000 gold ahead.
They didn't even get this another plate in the bot lane, by the way. Jhin just couldn't.
Jhin! Yeah. It's Jhin Rell. They don't do anything, man, to the tower. They don't have backup either. So you're not going to beat Jack's Ashe on a tower taking contest.
You are not. Now Gumayusi returns to the bot lane. Again, he is a little bit behind in CS, he's a little bit behind in XP, but the gold, because he secured that first tower, that's really where you're starting to see that discrepancy build up. 369 not able to leverage the strength of Renekton whatsoever. And while over in the LPL, it's been consistently a high priority pick because of its strength in lane and its versatility in the mid game, T1 are making the champion redundant given these early lane swap shenanigans.
And the Aurora, the first pick priority here for the side of TS, really hasn't done much. Creme fine in the individual 1v1 trades, but very little of this lane has been a 1v1.
Okay, Zeus, he's just running around taking plates. He's like, I got my passive up, I'm gonna hit the tower, get a plate, and then I'm off.
they're going to kick this man out of the buffet. he's been eating plates for 3 hours, so that's clearly against the rules.
Okay, we know it's all you can eat.
It's all you can eat is more of, it's a theoretical thing.
But no one actually eats all that they can eat,
no.
Okay? So it's like, but there's a plate, man. I
There's
gotta eat it.
Looks like he's only got 5 more minutes.
Look at this wave, man. It's perfect timing. In game 1, we talked about how BLG weren't wasting any time with their map movements.
Sure.
And I think you need to give the same credit to Zeus in this situation where he's just really trying to maximize what he can.
Knock up in, arrow to follow, cleanse out, but it's a little bit late. Immediate coming in from JackeyLove, taken down. Gumayusi now trying to run the charm to interrupt anything else coming in from Tian. Guma likely to fall here. Ulti is there. Probably just a 2 for 2 in the end, but more members used by the side of TES to make that play happen. Keria trying to escape. Oner now stepping forward in the end. Still able to find a pretty even trade.
A trade of life between the AD carries, but Gumayusi and Keria ultimately getting a 2v2 kill, which is huge for them. They get the cleanse out from JackeyLove. He isn't forced to expend the flash, and if it weren't for the presence of Tian, that play could have gone much worse. But overall, as you rightly said, 1 for 1 on the bot side of the map. Nicely though, Oner pulls the wave up into the river, which means that they now have a slow push heading towards that bot side of the map. We turn our attention back towards it again. Nice side step from Gumayusi. The knock-up comes through. He cleanses the CC, but he's still in the airborne. Nice flash out from Guma means that he's still able to get the kill. But at this point, he's just ran out of tools. He doesn't have flash. He doesn't have cleanse. And Tian is able to lock him down and secure the trade back kill.
And if you fall behind in a trade against the Rakan Ashe lane, they do just have so much CC. Even if he hadn't cleansed in mid-air, there's no real immediate pressure for Keria to charm to find that lockup. So well played by T1. And now it gets a lot harder for TES to get involved in the bottom side of the map. We did see right as we went into the replay, reassignment of JackeyLove into mid lane. And now T1 quick to try to punish the side lane focus. Creme, instant ult.
Nice use of the ultimate. We've been seeing that more and more around the world. But Creme doesn't panic. Uses the ultimate, not forced to expend the flash. Of course, T1 priority on the place. They're threatening the dive. A lot of TP.
They are ready to dive this. 369, Renekton, how strong is it? So much CC. He lives for a little bit of time, but the wave is basically deleted. T1 happy to have the donated kill. I don't think 369 was ready for everyone on T1 to be there.
But look at the map state. Typically when you're investing this much into a play, you're worried about the cross map, but they don't have the wave pushed in top. T1 had already secured that. It's Jhin in the mid lane again. You really can't trade much. And it's the plate merchant, Zeus. He's on the bot lane. He's there to get more plates for himself.
He just keeps eating. He's 1.1k gold ahead. And I did not think the major story of two international titans, TES and T1, would be about Jhin trying to take towers and not being very good at it, but a reminder as to why Jhin, I think in these lane swap scenarios, or in scenarios where you're playing a much more active map where you're constantly reassigning, can feel really lackluster. He just doesn't do enough.
I mean, we're not even close to 14 minutes. Top tower gone, bot tower gone. Of course, the good news for Top Esports is they deny the 6 scrubs and they set themselves up with 2 dragons. However, in terms of the gold, T1 have set themselves up beautifully for a very powerful mid-game. These first items are already coming through. The Trinity Force very nearly completed for Zeus. There's a pushed-in bot wave. He's going to be able to catch that as well. Top Esports are just being run around the map, and we talked about the composition and how I kind of favored T1's comp just because of their backline access and the number of threats that they have. This situation doesn't make things any easier for Top Esports.
I think the good news for Top Esports is JackeyLove's finally completed that static. His wave clear is going to be a bit better. They should be able to play a little bit more around Prio on at least some of these lanes, but need to see what Creme can do as well. Finished Malignants. Can he find angles with the ultimate to get picks on side lane? Because we know T1 just have so many tools. If you misstep, it's so easy for them to find these picks, to find these angles. It takes a little bit more work from TES to find those picks or find those setups on fights.
Bit of a dance between the supports as they battle over the control wards. Now, the
Faker
minion
coming in. Instant Wukong ultimate. Faker now going to follow between worlds, but there's just nowhere to go. Meiko trying to find the counter engage, but it might not matter. Still in the midst of everything. Tian is so damn tanky. They weren't ready for that, and Jhin might not kill towers, but he kills people pretty damn good. Quadra coming in, baby. Put it in the can, and JackeyLove is Jhin.
JackeyLove popped off! A quadra kill for the Jhin means that just like that, Top Esports have turned this game around. T1 were riding with so much momentum and confidence. They set their sights on the blue buff. The wombo combo looked good, but the threat to JackeyLove just wasn't there. From a distance, he was able to pick apart those T1 members and immediately bring them back into the game. That 3k gold lead has shrunk to a 1k one. And let's look back at this. as Faker turns into a minion. He sets up with his team. Keria looks for the engage. The knockup initially comes through. They burst out Creme, but look at the positioning of JackeyLove. The wombo combo looks good, but JackeyLove, the bouncing grenade doing work, the static shiv as well. And Tian on the front line able to soak up so much damage with the ultimate to clean things up. That's 4, he finds 4.
And incredible stuff there, because we talked about how hard it can be sometimes for TES to find fights, but when they absorb that initial blow and Tian and Meiko are still standing, all of that Rell CC is put to such fantastic use. You highlighted JackeyLove really just got to hang out. Now the only person in our MasterCard lane economy snapshot with an individual lead. They're not out of the tough times
so
yet.
There's good news and bad news. The good news, JackeyLove now very strong, in a position to be the carry for top esports. Bad news, every member of T1 have now picked a target, and he will now be the one that they are all gunning for in the upcoming team fight.
And it's tricky. We've talked about this. Yes, he has Flash and Cleanse. That'll make things a little bit easier, but there is so much non-committal CC from the side of T1. It's easy for them to just look for those angles. As the fight for Rift Herald, a lot of posturing. TES with a little bit better vision control might be in a position where T1 has to concede. You see both top laners resetting. 369 sprinting to the area, has Black Cleaver now completed. TP. Zeus finishing his Triforce at the same time. Both top laners ready to get involved. Their TP's there. Bit of a handshake here on the fist fight around this objective. Meiko trying to find that angle, trying to find that engage. Guma with the red buff. Poking, chipping away, the eye procced. Creme now walking in. Between Worlds is there. Gonna be difficult for Guma to stay too long. Not having vision in that brush, a bit devastating as Meiko just constantly threatening. Probably just the 50-50 on the smite. 2K on the Herald. Faker is now a blue buff, but the Herald's gone down. Tian wants to walk in and pick this one up. Should be able to do so. T1, are they willing to commit more resources to deny? Just a bit of poking and prodding, but ultimately 50-50 goes to TES, so not a lot to say.
I think the positioning from top esports was really good because Creme is in a position to constantly make it difficult for Oner to find that engage that he was looking for. Trying to come from the fog of war to catch top esports off guard. Meanwhile, 369 and Zeus were just kind of battling in the mid lane, trying to fight for access, who could get that better position ready for the upcoming team fight. But no one from T1 was really ready to pull the trigger. They don't really want to start the initiation onto Tian. They either want to find Creme or JackeyLove, but they weren't presenting any openings. So with the Herald being within range of Tian and him being this tanky Skarner, he was just slowly wearing it down and able to secure that objective uncontested. The gold still in favor of T1, but top esports, even after all the tower shenanigans and everything that's happened in the early game, have been prioritizing these objectives very well, only losing those first 3 grubs.
Definitely. And third Drake, 20 seconds away. Fighting now for push on the bottom side. Thus far, Zeus has been able to get this, but you can see 369 happy to step up, knowing the team will be there to back him up if he needs to fight with Zeus. Taking a look at the vision control right now, TES much better control. The brush that Meiko just walked through. Crucial for T1 to have that vision so they don't get picked off. Meiko's so good at hiding in that fog of war and setting up these traps. As instead, TES, knowing they have the Herald, going to try and force T1 on the back foot. They don't have a wave mid, but it looks like they don't even care about it. Creme moving in, was invisible. Between Worlds not going to come out. No one there to follow, so a bit of an awkward Herald usage.
Gives them access into the river, at least a little bit, as Keria still maintaining vision control. I think it's because Zeus able to have that push in the bot wave. Base going to come in through 369, should allow Zeus to catch this wave. But the pressure remains mid for top esports. They know where they have control. But we talked about the range. It's difficult to approach this composition from T1 underneath the tower, but now as 4, they make their way into the river. You've got to keep your eyes on the flank from Zeus. He is pinged out by the side of top esports. Slowly clearing out this vision.
T1, good use. Excuse me, TES, good use of their prio to keep that vision control in their favor. But such an awkward back and forth dance. You highlighted it so well, right? Zeus playing through bottom side, getting him access to that objective, having that angle of attack, whereas TES committed to playing through mid. If T1 don't commit enough members, they'll instantly lose that tower and it gets much harder. But if TES overcommit, it's so easy for Zeus to find that flank. Faker looking to get things off, double knockup, instantly Zeus in the midst of everything, and down goes JackeyLove, the one-fed member, gone in the blink of an eye. Tian does not have enough left in the tank to finish that one. Double kill for Zeus. T1, incredible fight.
Faker truly is timeless. An incredible engage from him once more on the world stage to set up the fight for T1. Top esports were caught unawares. JackeyLove didn't even get an opportunity to flash away. And with him taken out, all of the gold leaders gone. and just keep your eyes on Faker, mimicking the Wukong. Finds the angle, pops the ultimate, their target immediately, JackeyLove, and look at the follow-up there. All 4 members lock down the AD carry and don't give him the opportunity to play the game.
And perfect follow-up from Zeus and Oner. And credit to Faker, right? He throws himself forward like he's the fake clone, like he's the one just going for a bit of vision. But this one time, every other time, the 90 other times he sent a clone in, it was not the actual Neeko.
He's literally like the Wukong. There's 4 Wukongs. He can make 4. Like, that's crazy. Oner can press the W.
That lines up with the cannon pretty well. That's all I'm going to say.
Like, oh my goodness. Crazy stuff. And T1 back in the driver's seat.
And we look at our featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz, right? It's all about top lane. And while 369 hasn't been the crux of TES, you can see all of the money is going to Zeus. Yes, Faker gets the setup, but it's Zeus flashing in, getting that counter-strike, finishing that kill, and now 1.7k gold lead, almost 2 items, 20 minutes into the game. This Jax is a massive threat on the sideline. 369 really can't afford to walk up.
I mean, 369 from the very start of this game has been a target for T1. They were able to find First Blood. He was denied a lot of experience and farm in the early laning phase, and he hasn't been able to find these angles of attack in any of the fights. The matchup's only going to get harder as now Sundered Sky finished for Zeus alongside the Trinity Force.
Where do you think the quadra kill was on our win probability? It's that little sliver of blue.
Tower should finally go down? Nope. But again, it just comes back to that point of, look at how difficult this composition is to siege against, right? The threat of the Ashe arrow, Faker could at any moment pop the ultimate. The threat of the Wukong flank.
Meiko, though, starting, knowing the tower isn't really much to defend there. Now between worlds coming out, JackeyLove for now untouched on the backside can look to start to finish up these kills, but Zeus in the midst of everything just gave up his counter-strike. Now needs to retreat. Massive healing coming in from 369, but not nearly enough. Curtain call coming out, though, and looking to finish the job. So much damage. And again, JackeyLove clutching the fight.
As long as JackeyLove has position, there's always an opportunity for top esports to turn the fights around. He still didn't burn his flash in that engage, but it was top esports to put the pressure onto T1. They were the initiators, and they put T1 on the back foot, allowing JackeyLove to find good position and turn the fight around. 9-9 in kills. Top esports are going to get 2 towers.
But I think the hero of the day is Meiko there. So many of these engages have been all about that Rell. He and Tian both with 100% kill participation in this game. Yes, JackeyLove is the one who's walking away with the money, the scoreline, the accolades, no doubt in my mind, but the supporting cast here has been so good for TES.
I mean, you're completely right, and think about it, every exchange that happens between the 2 teams, Creme is quick to throw out the ultimate, so we start the initiation with Meiko, saying, we need this tower, let's go. Oner becomes the target, and he takes a lot of damage at the start of the fight as 369 keeps Zeus out of the fight. JackeyLove on the backline, the ultimate connects onto the front, and you think at this point it's dangerous, but look at the damage being done by Creme as well. Follow that up with the ultimate from JackeyLove, and it is a one-sided fight as T1 is forced to retreat.
And I'm going to be honest, I was not excited about Static Shift Jhin generally until this game, and now I am a believer. JackeyLove single-handedly convincing me. Aurora, on the other hand, I did believe in, and I think those numbers are starting to remind us why. This champion does a hell of a lot of damage and just makes it so easy for your follow-up CC to land, right? If you just put them in the circle, there's really nowhere for them to dodge.
And it's great to see from Creme as well. This year was the first time we got to see him on the international stage. Of course, no rookie by any means domestically, but as a player, he's really shown a lot of evolution, a lot of growth. Initially known as this kind of assassin type of player, especially known for things like Zakali, but this year especially he's come into his own, he's grown a lot, and now showcasing the Aurora, having huge impact in these fights. I hope he can maintain that performance. Getting a win against T1 would be huge for the momentum of top esports here at this year's World Championship.
You can't really imagine a better way for an LPL team to start this tournament, to start to rewrite everything that happened at World 2023. T1 a bit of hot water here as they try to get out of the jungle. Oner luckily still has the clone. They'll be happy to just try and get the Heartsteel proc, even though they didn't quite, and Zeus still pretty favored in that 1v1. Is Tian now trying to get something started here, spotting out Zeus. Zeus still has allies to go back to. Captive audience hitting those big. Ulti now to fall. They want to delete this Jax.
Good Ashe arrow there, stunning up Tian to allow for Zeus to then jump away to safety. The mid wave completely abandoned as both teams hover around the bot side of the map. Dragon spawning though in 10 seconds. Will give an opportunity for Zeus to go back to base, spend what gold he can. Has the TP available, not going to spend that much, only picking up an Aptome and a control ward.
Yes, Pinging on the Baron, starting to move up, get a bit more control up there just in case T1 try to leverage their position to start Drake.
The beautiful thing about this game is it showcased already. Oh, hang on.
Faker kicking things off, but only catching the jungler, only catching Tian. The Deadly Flourish not going to hit, luckily, so he will not get rooted. But a bit
that's a crucial ultimate missed. JackeyLove, once again, not forced to expend any summoners. Dragon, though, secured for T1.
But the good news is he buys time for his team to take the Drake, and TES in the meantime can't go start the Baron or even really set up better positioning. But T1 need to be careful about approaching here. Twofold Hex not going to connect. Meiko off to the side.
About 45 seconds until Faker's ultimate is back up. T1 have to play defensively until that moment. I mean, I feel like top Esports should set their sights on the top tier 1, an easy objective for them to secure, but at the same time, they don't want to concede this mid tier 1. It gives so much access into the jungle. You don't really want to give it away completely for free. But it does look like top Esports slowly shifting their attention towards that top side of the map as resets starting to come through. But they're cautious about the potential Baron. T1, they don't have any vision.
And T1 have a pretty quick Baron, all things considered. TES much slower. T1, of course, I mean, historically, they had that year where they were just the 20-minute Baron team. And I think it's something that has to be in the back of TES's mind as they go for these resets.
T1 Barons is still...
They're still a thing. I think it's less... for a while, it was like the thing. I think it's less emblematic. Still in the toolkit, though. Something they're going to have to respect. Guma catching the mid wave. Resets now coming out. Prio in the bot lane will be responded to by TES. And the next big objective is this Baron, and T1 looking to clear out some of this vision, potentially set a trap.
Crucially, the Infinity Edge done for JackeyLove is a huge power spike. Bit of an interrupt there onto Keria, but of course, on this Rakan, he should be able to get away to safety. That tower in the mid lane so low as Faker turns his attention towards top. Creme does have a bit of an experience advantage over Faker. If he's able to catch that top wave, he'll be a full level over him. Faker's been over-grouping a lot to set up for plays with his team. But Zeus comfortably winning this matchup now.
Flash, nice reaction from 369.
Does, of course, expend that summoner spell to get away to safety. The trade in vision, the back and forth. Neither team confident in setting up for Baron.
I'm going to be honest. The 26-minute, 0 gold difference between two teams, this is what World is about.
I'm sorry, what was even more beautiful was that it was a period in time where the gold at the top of the screen was 4-4-4, 4-4-4, and I just feel like the Jhin would be proud of that moment.
I'm just saying the Jhin fans are eating good this game. Most certainly.
You got a quadra kill, 4s across the board.
Yeah.
All right. We're setting up for the Baron, and as you talked about, top Esports are hesitant to just start it off because they have Jhin. And as we've already learned this game,
he kills very good. Everything else?
Unfortunately, you know, we're in season 14, only 4 bullets. He has to reload.
Yeah. Crazy what they do.
But he is in a very powerful position. And
I mean, 3.5
the thing
items.
is, what I will say is top Esports, I feel, have very easy objectives on the maps to play for. On the maps, on the map. They're pinging out the bot tower right now, and I think that that is the easiest one, given how low HP it is. But also, I'm sure they'd love to secure that top tower as well. They were able to get 2 in the mid lane, but these tier 1s are crucial because it just makes it easier to move into the enemy jungle,
it certainly does.
And it allows you to get deeper push on these side lanes, which buys you more time to then regroup and then look for plays on the map.
But I think you can see that 369 doesn't want to overcommit on side. He doesn't have TP. They don't want to send Creme to go up against the Jacks, and it puts them in this awkward situation where, yes, they finally get the tower, but it took a lot longer than they would have liked. Now the setup, though. Lines of skirmish drawn. Tian just looking to bully his way in. Certainly has a big enough health bar. TES taking control of the area. They have mid push. Guma going to respond. Some of this vision will get cleared out. The dance, the classic Baron back and forth. You push, you take what vision is there. Maybe you can start it, but neither side really with a big enough advantage on side to begin that objective.
It's been a very tense affair for the last 5 minutes or so. Neither team has tried to force that fight, but of course the Dragon now a minute away. This will likely be the next big objective that both teams set their sights on, and the fight there could even determine the Baron, depending on how one-sided of an affair it could be. Faker very far away from level 15. A little bit behind in terms of gold. As we look towards the bot side of the map, there's about a 1k gold lead still for JackeyLove. Experience, though, pretty even.
Yep.
And Gumayusi still comfortable when it comes to itemization.
And again, a lot of the reason the gold is close is because Guma was able to get so many plates early on, whereas Jackie really was not. It's the kills that have balanced things out for him. As we get later, I think, you know, Mountain Drake, not always my favorite to see, but I think when you have a Wukong against so much physical damage, when he naturally already gets so much armor for free, JackeyLove has to continue to play these fights excellently because Oner has a very easy time to just ignore so much of the damage that JackeyLove can put out. Now, admittedly, getting closer to a completed armor penetration item for JackeyLove, but this next fight might still be a struggle to burst through Oner's health bar in isolation.
TP's committed.
And red pot for Oner as well. Wants the physical vamp.
Keria needs to be careful here. We'll get away to safety, leveraging the blast cone. Once again, Zeus with the push in bot allows T1 an avenue into the river while top esports maintain control around mid. They're going to start the objective themselves.
T1 very split right now. TES, 5 members strong, giving respect to that clone. Last time the clone was the real thing, and they were caught off guard. This time around, they're not looking to take that risk. Keria threatening. Zeus waiting behind, Contaxian off his support. Objective getting lower and lower, but they've already got it on the side of TES. T1 now going to go in to try to get the picks on 369, hoping that maybe they can get the Baron in the meantime, but TES are already out. Zeus now getting chipped away at. Not really much there to play, but Faker again trying to make the play happen. Instant follow-up coming in from Keria. Zeus off to the side. They're going to look to delete 369, but JackeyLove is still standing tall. Zeus going in 1v1 versus JackeyLove, but he's all on his lonesome. And as long as that AD carry is standing, as long as that mid laner is standing, TES are winning the fight. Guma with nowhere left to go. The bullet doesn't even hit him. He's dead as it's flying. Shut down coming in. TES barreling down the mid lane.
That is a 5-for-0 ace, and Drakos, they can look to end the game right now. Another fantastic play from top esports, and as long as the carries were left untouched, they were able to clean up the fight. I think that's gonna be it.
So much of the early game was in control of T1. It felt like they come ahead in the lane swaps, but in the fights, TES have been better. The turns, T1 the ones who overextended in TES's jungle, giving those kills to JackeyLove costs them as TES take down T1.
And in a statement game, the early game looked a little shaky, but you talked about it, Drakos, the support staff on the side of top esports, Tian and Meiko, that jungle support combo. 100% kill participation for both of them. Creme quick to drop the ultimates down when ready. I mean, great team fighting from them.
Fantastic. As much as I love us talking about it, let's see what the analyst desk has to say about that incredible game 2.
Well, it's coming up JackeyLove, and as a European fan, I've been on that side of things before, so I know how much it hurts. But what is particularly impressive to me is how it came off the back of a T1 that had that early game strategically
They were looking
completely
good.
in the bag.
T1 was looking good for a lot of this game until they lost every fight consecutively.
No, I think the early game was actually so much better than I had anticipated.